In this video, I will redraw an old favorite. Stay to the end for another story. Using a dark gray Marvy LePen, I start out making a faint outline and then use a KingArt Fineliner in black to reinforce the lines I like. The page has already been prepped with watercolor smeared on with an old plastic card. It isn't even a sketchbook. It is an unused 2024 planner that was gifted to me and I never used it, so I am using it as a doodle book. For this drawing, I used the new Arrtx Paint Markers I recently reviewed and they performed well. The end result is just as pleasing to me as the original drawing, and this is a theme that I will come back to often. You can try this too. Take a drawing you already did and do it again in another color, another style, or using different tools. Repeat yourself. This is a good way to take the thinking out of your next drawing and good practice. This drawing of a woman wearing sunglasses and sporting an afro is, for me, a comfort drawing. It is a go-to theme that I can expect to turn out nicely. The woman's face is a theme that I keep coming back to that usually turns out well. Do you have a comfort drawing? If so, please type yes in the comments. This drawing is a new creation, just like me. Here is another opportunity to describe how I have been transformed. Testimony. And to practice my storytelling skills. My story today is about hair. I spent about 30 years of my life assimilating. I wanted the hair I saw in commercials and on TV. My natural hair is extra curly and fuzzy and also very dense and fine. Some people might call this nappy. This type of hair was generally not acceptable in society and certainly not in workplaces. Is generally not acceptable? The sheer volume of my hair had always been a challenge for both me and my mother to maintain. So when I was about 12, she decided to get my hair relaxed. For my light-skinned cousins who don't get their hair straightened, this is a process that involves a cream with lye in it, and it is laid on the hair for a time, but not too long, because it will not only straighten hair, but also melt skin. And not too far onto the hair that has already been straightened, because it will burn right off. Also, the timing of this process has to be delicately maintained, because if you wait too long for your next treatment, hair breakage is in your future. It is one of the many ways we humans can reject the way God made us. And it is an expense. At the time, my mother and father were divorced, and we were managing what was called then joint custody. Me and my brother would regularly move back and forth from one household to the next. So when I got back to my father's house and explained that I would need an appointment to get my hair relaxed, he was puzzled. After I explained it to him, he rightly called it addiction. In 1978, he said, "Oh, then you're addicted to it." At that moment, I thought he was being difficult and terribly old-fashioned, but he was absolutely right. There are some of us who are still conforming to this hair suppression today. On the other hand, those of us who have awakened from the addiction of getting our hair relaxed regularly also call this process creamy crack. The name is fitting. You had better get your next treatment on time, or the results could be disastrous. I continued to get my hair relaxed for 23 more years. My hair is unusually dense, but also delicate, and I didn't realize the delicate part until much later in life. Also, I have several different hair textures all over my head. I should not have been getting the softest textures of hair relaxed. There were many years I suffered with massive breakage and damaged hair. I wanted it to grow long, but I would spend much time in the bathroom mirror using a curling iron and causing heat damage. So I had heat damage and chemical damage. I had large chunks of hair missing in the back. This inspired me to want to get more hair weaved into my head, although I never did. I asked my hairdresser for weave, but he refused. I went to my mother's hairdresser and requested weave and found out that I could not afford to get it. Even without weaved hair, the money I spent on hair appointments, products, and time spent in the mirror is a shame. Finally, inspired by Erykah Badu, I opted for locked hair. Even though I later found out that her locked hair was not her own, I am still grateful to her for planting that seed. It has been one of the best decisions and the best hairstyle of my life. It has been the cheapest, most versatile, and healthiest hair decision I have ever made. I could go to the hairdresser or not. I have skipped going for many months and done my own hair at home for free. Maybe the money I have saved in the last 20 years has balanced out the money I wasted trying to look like I was born with straight hair. The bottom line is that it is expensive to challenge the way you were made. The purchased hair, nail salon appointments, and makeup was quite an investment of time and money. It literally makes you a slave to these processes and is a true waste of resources. I don't do any of it anymore, and I am free indeed. Once I found out that God's design of me was intentional and understanding that He is all-knowing, I found His divine purposes to be more than sufficient, even something to celebrate. This is another way that Jesus has delivered me. Romans 12:2 in the NLT says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect." So my thinking has been transformed just like this drawing. That is it, and that is all.